Hey, what is going on? Hope everyone had an amazing weekend. It's finally starting to feel like summer around here. Welcome to episode 95 of Outside the Chute. I'm your host, Randy Frame. This week's OTC Player of the Week comes to us from Wisconsin as Turner Hetland takes home the weekly honors. Turner went 12 for 16 with 5 doubles and 9 RBIs this past week with her Case High School Eagles. Awesome job, Turner. Best of luck the rest of the season. On to this week's guest, and we sat down and chatted with the University of Washington alum, former U.S. national team member, and current AU athlete, Courtney Gano. Court has had a fantastic career to date. She would have a stellar 4 years with Washington Huskies where she would have a solid .306 career average with 23 home runs and 91 RBIs. She then got her professional start over in Italy before joining the Chicago Bandits of the MPF in 2018. Court would play with the U.S. national team as well in 2018, where she would help the red, white, and blue capture gold at the Japan Cup. Since then, her and her husband Abdul welcomed their son Gregory to the world in 2020, and now she's back playing in Athletes Unlimited. We're going to talk to Court about getting her start in the game, the influence her parents played in her development, her time with the Huskies, of course Greggy, and much, much more. Getting the chance to talk to Courtney was an absolute pleasure, and I'm so happy she took time out of her busy schedule to come on and chat because this is a good one. With that being said, grab that drink, sit back, relax, because here we go.
I got the world in my palm, life's camera action, it's on. I can't describe what I'm feeling, ain't never felt this freedom. I got the world in my palm, life's camera action, it's on. Ain't never felt this freedom. Could you say that anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes, anything goes. You wanna know me? Real deal hip hop.
All right, here we go. Courtney, thanks so much for coming on the podcast.
Absolutely. I'm really excited.
How are things going out in Washington today?
Things are well. We got some good weather. Gregory's having a good day, so I really can't complain. It's been nice to actually be home for a bit. You know, we were in Greece for a while and kind of got to settle back in here in Washington the last 3 months.
Right on. So, well, I'll get to Greggy in a second because we're definitely talking about that little guy. So out in Greece, your husband, professional basketball player. Mm-hmm. How's his season going?
He actually comes home today.
Oh, wow.
He just landed in the U.S. and he's on his way over here soon. So we'll pick him up tonight. It's a long season. They started in August. So he left right when Athletes Unlimited, my season was starting. So he didn't get to be there for that, which was a bummer. But he's been gone for a long time. So I'm really excited that he's finally coming home. No. But it was a good season. It was decent. Right on. Right.
So how long's he been playing over there now?
He was in Greece the last 2 years, these last 2 seasons. Okay. And, you know, he's been in Europe, I think 6 seasons total since he graduated college. So he's had his fair share of time out in Europe. Right on. So back to Greggy. How's Greggy making out? Greggy is awesome. He is so fun and so sweet. He's coming up almost on 2 years old, and it's just crazy how time flies. But it's so much fun just being able to see every day like something new and just the wonder in his eyes. He's amazing.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I have a son and a daughter. Of course, my son's going to be 14, or no, he's turning 15 in September, and my daughter's 6. She's going on 7. So I definitely I miss those young 2-year-old years. I mean, when they were so innocent, and now they talk back to me, and I don't like it.
It goes by so fast. I mean, everyone says time flies, and you remind yourself that it flies, but it's just like crazy to look back at photos and whatnot. And I'm like, he was just this little chunky baby. Yeah. Where does the time go?
I know. It's crazy. Actually, it's funny. Like, you know, when I do my research, I go through social media posts and everything. And you had the post of when he said "mama," like and you were like, "Oh my god!"
Oh, yeah.
And what's funny, my wife has the same thing with our daughter, and she said the same thing. And of course, as mothers, you freak out.
It was actually so crazy because he was really, really young. Like, it was young for him to say that. So when he would say it, it was like the cutest thing. Like,
yes.
I don't even think he was honestly referring to me. I think it was just like a sound that he could make, but of course I'm gonna like take it to heart. And so yes, I was like freaking out, and I'm so competitive, so I'm like to my husband, haha, this is what he said first.
Yeah. Yeah, I know. My wife says the same thing. She's like, Harley said mom first, and I was like, I know.
Yeah, we got to take what we can.
Absolutely. Well, Court, we have a little thing I like to start the podcast with. I call it quick pitches. I'm going to throw out some random questions to you, like just you, I guess, answer them as best you can. I mean, they're off topic a little bit. Some are about ball, but I guess answer them best you can.
Okay, you want quick answers?
Nah, I just call it quick pitches.
So whatever I got. Okay.
I just call it quick pitches because it sounds good.
Yeah, it is a nice little name.
So first one, if you had to live off one food for a week, what would you pick?
Pasta, 100%. You can't ever go wrong with pasta.
I hear you.
When I played in Italy, I was in heaven and love it.
Oh, I can't wait to talk about Italy actually a little bit later on, because that's on my bucket list of places to go. Like, oh man.
Oh, it was so fun.
No doubt. Next one. Biggest thing you miss at University of Washington?
Ooh, I think just the culture and my teammates. It was a lot of fun, and I go and practice with them still, so I get to kind of get a taste of that. But I miss that. Like, even the times getting up at 6 a.m., like, it sucked, but you do it with your teammates, and you miss those times that you didn't think you ever missed.
Yeah, that's so true though. I mean, isn't it funny when you look back, like at the time you're like, oh, the alarm goes off. You don't want to get up. But now as you get older, you're like, man, I wish that alarm would go off again. Yeah.
It's kind of crazy. And even the times that, like, I just wouldn't even have thought like it would be my most memorable things, but like just these random little things that I would do with teammates, I miss that. Like, even just like stopping at McDonald's like on the way there or something like so ridiculous. It's like, those are the moments that come to mind. They're just like all the laughs and whatnot.
Yeah, absolutely. Next one, if you could go back and play one game over again, which one is it?
Oh, that's
tough
a
one.
Good question. You know what? I didn't get to play in the game, but I really wish that I was playing in the World Series when we went. I was redshirting that year because I broke my thumb, and it was like my doing and my fault that I broke my thumb. So it was kind of one of those things where, I was like in the dugout at the World Series, like, damn, I did this to myself, but I really wish I could have been on the field with them. I played my role the best I could that year, but what a cool experience. Just wish I was like out there, like contributing more as a player that year.
Right. And I'm actually going to bring that up a little later on, unfortunately.
Okay.
But we'll dive into
okay.
that. We'll dive into that a little bit more. Toughest pitch you've ever faced so far in your career?
Ooh. Oh, that's a tough one. Okay.
There's a few out there.
Man, there's like 5 that are like equally at the top. I'm trying to think of someone that I just like really dreaded.
Yeah.
Can we go back to this one?
Yeah, let's come back to that one.
Okay, let's come back to it. So much for quick pitch. Huh?
I know. Man, these are not quick at all. Come on, Court. If you could go anywhere in the world on vacation, where would it be?
I'd like to go to Australia or New Zealand. Those are like my top 2 right now.
Yeah, right on. As I said, mine's Italy. Like, 100%. But Australia, New Zealand, which we actually have a huge following for the podcast in Australia and New Zealand, which they'll love hearing this.
Oh, good. Okay, so I might get on their good side.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Next one. If you could have one superpower, what would it be?
I think to maybe just switch places with somebody, like maybe for a day. And I can and I don't know, maybe I'd get like a certain amount of people that I could switch with, but I think that would really be fun, is to like walk in someone's shoes for a day, and you get to go back to who you were. But I think that would be interesting.
That would be awesome, actually. Man,
yeah,
that would be awesome. Couple more here. Favorite TV show growing up?
Law and Order SVU. Even when I was really young.
What?
Yeah, I know.
What the hell?
I know. I've seen every single episode of every season. And I wanted to be like the main character, Olivia Benson. Like, she was like my idol.
Wow.
And I wanted to be a detective like her. And now I don't, but it's not really a family job, and
No.
but that's been my all-time fave.
So when did you start watching it?
Oh, probably shouldn't admit how young I was. I was probably like 8, maybe. Yeah, I shouldn't. Gosh, what were my parents doing? Maybe only when my parents like left the room.
That is so crazy. Oh my, that is great. I love having this content. What was your best walk-up song you had?
Oh, I really like, it's called Walk Through, and I had it since college, and I still have it to this day.
Oh, really?
It's like, it's like, I be feeling like the man when I walk through, and it makes me feel like so cool. And Coach Tar used to love it too. Like, sometimes she would call timeout, and I think that she's gonna, like say something like what the plan is, and she was like, "Oh, let's just listen to this."
Oh, that is awesome! That is so awesome.
I'm like, all right, if you want to use your timeout for this, it's good with me.
So who sings that one?
Rich Homie Quan, and you'll have to watch listen to the edited version.
Well, no way. I'm not listening to no edited version. As soon as we're done here, it's definitely going on my Spotify. I can tell you that much.
It's like, it's one of those that kind of just like pumps you up. Like, yeah, I'm feeling myself.
That's what I want. Last one here. Best product Marucci makes.
Oh, okay. I'm loving their gloves. Like, the way that my gloves came out. And I haven't even used them yet. Like, I've used like the stock gloves, and I haven't been able to use my custom ones, but the way that they customize them, I haven't had a glove that is like me. And this is me. I'm like, this leopard or this cheetah print, like, so bougie and so extra, and I'm here for it.
That and the tan and black one, is sick.
That one came out even better than I thought. Like, it has this cool little, I have a video of it that I'm going to post, but it has this like cool little kind of like glitter accent on it that makes like that floral print pop. It's cool. Nice. Yeah.
Nice.
They're doing some cool stuff.
That's awesome.
I've been enjoying my time with Marucci.
How did you get involved with them?
So Allison, who was with Wilson before, I had a great relationship with her, and that's who I worked exclusively with when I was with Slugger and Wilson. She's with Marucci now, and we just had a really good connection and friendship, and I think it was just time for me to maybe do something else with my equipment, and it just seemed to fit. And I really like what they're doing for the game and how much input they want from us. And, their fast pitch side is growing, and they only had two other softball girls on their little roster. So I'm like, you know what? Absolutely. Like, let's do this. Let's grow this. Let's make the game better. And they're all for it. So
that's awesome.
I'm loving it.
Right on. Yeah. Cause they have some big names on the men's side, but like for baseball and stuff. And, you know, for you, who else is with you there?
There's Haley Cruz and AJ Andrews.
Right. So, I mean, for you guys to get on that side and grow it on the fast pitch side of things, I mean, that's awesome.
Yeah. And the fact that they're just like willing to invest and like, they're really like, I don't know, just putting a lot of time and effort and want a lot of feedback. And I love that. Like, I love the communication. I love the involvement.
Right on. That's awesome. So Court, let's get on to your career. With every guest that we have on here, I like to start off with, tell us when and where you got your start in the game.
Oh, I played T-ball when I was 6 on the Dodgers, and that's when I started.
The Dodgers, of course.
Yeah, I was on this little T-ball team, and I think it was me and maybe there was one other girl in West Covina Little League, and that was the start of it. And then kind of just after like 2 years, moved on to softball in Chino Hills, and from there, I was just loving it. It was so much fun. I mean, there's so many girls that have come out of Chino Hills, so many great softball players. It's kind of crazy to think about.
Mm-hmm. Now, were you the programs that down, like, were you like a bat buster or? I
was a Corona Angel.
Oh, okay.
So for rec ball, I was with Chino Hills, and then I played on this little team called Legacy for a few years. Like, we were this little scrappy team. And then it was kind of just time to like, all right, well, it's time to get like recruited, get myself better, like really challenge myself. And so I was with Marty on the Angels for the last 4 years of my high school career.
Awesome. Now, did you have a love for the game right away, or was that like a process over time? I'm guessing you may have had it right away. I'm basing, on your mother.
Yeah, I did. It was kind of just like a way of life. My dad, he was actually the president of the Little League when he was younger for that in West Covina or Cortez Park. So he's like been big into baseball. And then of course my mom played, and my stepdad, he owned a facility. And so it was kind of just like, I was kind of forced to like be in the batting cages all the time. It was like my second home. There was definitely a time when it was too much. Like, I think I was 10 or 11, maybe even 12. I don't know, but I took a year off because I didn't have that love for it. And it became like, I was dreading going to practice. I didn't want to be there.
Oh, really?
So I took I just, it was like, it was that unhealthy pressure.
Yeah.
And I think it was just too much pressure at the time. And I was like, I'm not enjoying it. I don't like it. And I think it was really cool that my dad said, okay, well, you can take some time. And I think with that time is what made me miss it and realize that I wanted to get back into it. And that's when I started playing for Legacy. That's when I, like, my travel ball career started.
Right. So I'm guessing your parents definitely played a big role in your development growing up.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like I said, I was in the batting cages all the time.
Yeah.
My mom was, she wanted me to be a pitcher, of course, like her, but
no way. Come on.
I wouldn't listen to her. It's like your parent doesn't know anything. They could be like the most expert at whatever it is, and you still don't believe that they know anything.
Yeah.
And that's where I was at with it. So pitching wasn't in the cards.
That'd be too much pressure on you. What?
It was just like, I would not listen to her. I would look at her like, that's not how you throw a changeup.
Telling your mother, oh my God.
As like a 7-year-old.
That's hilarious. Oh my God. And for those of us, for any of the listeners that don't know, your mother, of course, is Rhonda Wheatley, who was an All-American with Cal Poly and NCAA record holder in innings pitched in the season, which is crazy. She had 434 and a third in 1985. Just throwing that little fact out there, but she had a great career.
I think she's a 4-time All-American. And
Oh, yeah.
I have to throw out the fact that she also holds a record for most errors in a game.
Hey,
so
Mom.
let's just put that out there.
Hey,
Keep
Mom,
her
she's
humble.
throwing shade at you.
I think it's like most errors by a pitcher in a game or something like that.
No way, really? Oh,
Yeah, it was. I forget what the number is. Maybe like 4 or 5.
oh, that's, I'm a pitcher too. Like, so I've had my fair share of errors in the game. You know what? As a pitcher, trying to throw to first on a bunt is difficult. I will say that.
Well, I don't even know like what the errors were. I've never like brought it up. But you know what was really cool is when we were at the World Series, or honestly, any postseason games, they put up like record holders up on the screen, and
Right.
it was really cool. Like her name would come up like when we were in Oklahoma City, and that was really cool to see. I think it was, maybe she was top 5 for most strikeouts or something like that.
Yeah.
And I thought that was a really cool moment when her name would come up there. I just felt really proud, and it was
No
cool
doubt.
to yeah, it was nice.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Now, Court, can you remember if there was a point when you were like, I might be able to do something with this game? Like, before, like, was it before the recruitment process or was it after it, when that may have hit?
I knew I was pretty good. Like before the Corona Angels, I was like, okay, like I felt like I had a shot. But it wasn't until I was on the Angels where like, that's when the recruiting started happening. I got a letter from UCLA, and it was cool because it was a handwritten letter. And I thought, whoa, this is awesome. My first letter. And that's kind of when I'm like, oh, okay, we can do this. And, Marty has a great relationship with a lot of college coaches, and I hadn't really experienced that. So, when he would send me these emails from other coaches, I thought, whoa, this can happen. And I had a trip planned to Washington. That was my first visit, my first camp. And then I had ASU the next weekend, and that's when it happened. I went up to Washington, fell in love, never looked back. I committed on the spot. He told me, do not commit. Do not commit. You have a visit next weekend. You do not commit. So I had to call him and say, Marty,
I committed. Oh, that's so great. So why Washington?
I never regretted it.
Why'd you commit right on the spot?
As soon as we landed in Seattle, okay, let me be honest. I didn't even know where Washington was. I thought we were going to DC. Like, I was so young. I didn't know that they were in the Pac-10 at the time. Nothing. I was clueless.
Right.
I knew that, Arizona State, UCLA, like those were just kind of the schools that were more around our area, what I would hear about. And so I'm like, okay, like, sure, I'll give them a shot. And it's kind of embarrassing, but when they send out the questionnaires, they ask you, what are your top 4 schools? And I didn't know this at the time, but you should always put that school as number 1.
And you didn't.
I added a 5th and a 6th line, and I put them as number 6.
Wow.
And I cannot believe that they even called me back after that, because they called Marty and said, who is this girl and what is she doing?
That's
and
awesome.
Marty called me and was like, you idiot. What are you added a 6th line and put them last. And so I was just clueless, like, to be completely honest. So, yeah.
That is so great.
So anyways, I ended up going up there. As soon as I landed, like, Seattle was just beautiful, just green and just something I hadn't seen before. Went on campus, and Coach Tar, the coaching staff, they were so awesome. The girls that were on the team at the time, who ended up winning national championship the next year, all of them were incredible. Felt at home. My dad loved it there. And it was just like, it felt right. And I didn't want to go anywhere else. I was like, this is it.
I can't believe you had a fifth and a sixth line. That is
I know.
amazing.
One of my AirPods went out. Can you still hear me? Okay.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Okay, perfect. Yep. So that's that story.
Oh, that's awesome. That is so fantastic. Actually, here's a question I've never asked any of my guests before that played NCAA. What was it like after you commit to your school? Like, do they give you things to work on before you get there or anything like that? When you're playing high school and travel ball?
Well, I had close communication with Coach Tara. I'd actually call her every Monday night at 8 p.m. And we would talk every week. And so, we would talk about things, but I think the coaches, or at least like in my situation, she trusted Marty.
Right.
That he was going to prepare me the way that I needed to be prepared. And a lot of times, or many times, there's, kids could potentially like not work as hard once they're committed. And I think that's kind of like the scare for coaches. Like you're kind of just gambling on like, all right, they're going to get better.
Right.
And so like my main goal was like, I'm not going to just like settle and like, oh, I'm committed, I'm going to take it easy. Like, no way. Like I'm going to get better every year and I'm going to be the most prepared I can when I get there. So I think that like travel ball, I mean, my teammates were, the best players in the world. I mean, our Corona Angel team, my last 2 years, incredible. And so having them around me and making me better, there was no, like, I was going to be prepared regardless. Cause if you wanted a spot on that field, like I was like fighting with Stephanie LaRosa at shortstop. I was with Nikki Gerard at third. I mean, we just had girls who were awesome.
Wow.
And that helped a lot.
No doubt. Absolutely.
Yeah. So
what do you remember most about arriving on campus freshman year?
So there was like this little, like, I don't know exactly what it was about, but there was this like little penny, and I think we found a lucky penny or something like that. And we like gave it to Coach Tara, my dad and I, and she had it when I came back on campus for school. So she kept that for at least 4 years on her desk, and she still has, I don't know if she still has it, but she had it my freshman year. And she said, you remember this? Like you and your dad gave me this lucky penny that we found during your trip. And that's a pretty cool moment, just knowing that like that meant something to her. And like, I don't know, that's
amazing.
Kind of a special thing. Yeah.
Wow. That is good on Coach Tara. Wow, that's amazing.
Right. I mean, that says something about her.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Her to even like care about something like that.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Now, was it a big adjustment for you?
Yeah. I mean, going in there, I thought I had my crap together and I didn't. It was a big adjustment, not in the sense of like being away from home and doing things on my own. I was pretty independent. But I think just like softball wise was kind of tough, like figuring out my swing, figuring out my confidence, and just like trusting the work that I had put in. I was mostly a defensive player my freshman year. And so I really had to like figure out my swing and how I was going to like be in that lineup consistently.
Right. Now, I always ask all my NCAA guests, do you remember your first game?
Yes, I remember. You know what I remember most is Kylie Lawners and I. So we came in together, and we are just so pumped to be out there. So I was playing third. So it was 3 of freshmen. I was playing third. Kim Souza was playing short, and Kylie Lawners was playing second. And we were all 3 best friends. We would call ourselves a freshman trio. Like it was fun. And so Kylie and I, like we looked at each other, like we heard the lineup and we got out on the field and we're like, we're here. Like we're doing this. And we just like embraced the moment. And we were like so proud. Like we did it. We're on the field. And I love that moment because, sometimes we forget to just be in the moment and like be proud of yourself and know like, you dreamed of these things. And we dreamed of where we were at. So I love thinking about that. Just like, us smiling at each other like, I'm proud of you kind of thing. That was fun.
And what's even, you guys beat Nebraska 4-0, which they were a ranked team at the time, which props to you, first game of the season. And but
that was we had a really good preseason that year.
Did you?
Really good preseason.
Right on. Now, you had 7 assists in that game, but you didn't hit. Now, I know you said you were primarily defensive. The next game against San Jose State, you go 2 for 4 with a home run and 3 RBIs. Coach Char must be like, oh, well, I got to get her in the lineup.
Yeah, it was tough because we had Nikki Williams, who was coming off of a back surgery.
Yeah.
So I would play defense for her.
Yes.
And she would hit, but it would depend on our pitcher because we had Caitlin Inglesby who would hit for herself.
Yeah.
So it kind of depended on who was pitching at the time. You know, Nikki, she was a senior, and so she had a lot of experience. And so it just kind of ended up being like just what, I don't know how the lineup worked out. So I knew that when Inglesby wasn't pitching, that I'd be in the lineup because Nikki would hit for whoever the pitcher was.
Okay.
If it wasn't Inglesby. So that's kind of how we had to figure out the lineup.
Right.
But yeah, that was a fun one against San Jose State. That was, I was like, okay, all right, I think I got this thing.
Well, imagine hitting a home run in the first game you get to that you get to hit in. Like, must have been, I would have been like, woohoo, let's go.
Yeah, it was fun. It was fun. Thanks. So now I'm reliving some of this. I actually forgot about that.
Yeah,
so.
There you go. So what was your biggest takeaway from that freshman season, do you figure?
Oh, that's a good question. I'd say just like putting in the work. Kim Souza, she put in the work. So she would go before practice, she would go hit. If we had a day off, she still found a time to hit with one of the coaches or something like that. And I was like, I wasn't really doing that. I'm like, really? You're going to go hit? Like, let's go do something else. Like, it's our day off. Or like, you're going to hit before practice? Like, we start at, we have a 3-hour practice. And I just didn't understand that extra work that really you need to put in to be your best. And I'm glad she's Gregory's godmom. She's my best friend. And I'm so glad that I had her around because she didn't really push me to put in the extra work, but she led me to do that. Like, I just saw the hard work that she put in, and I'm like, I'm going to do that too. It kind of made me feel guilty. So I was like, I kind of felt forced to. I'm like, oh, she's making me look bad. But it taught me like, it takes a lot. You have to put more work than just practice because that's what everyone else is doing. Now, what are you going to do to like really get yourself to the next level?
Yeah.
So I would say that was my biggest takeaway.
Okay, right on. Well, hey, that's, if there's one thing to take away, I mean, it's learning to do the extra work. I mean, that's huge. And a lot of like that, if there's a message for, any of the players coming up, that's one thing they really need to do. Am I right? Absolutely. I talked to my sister about it. She's a sophomore at San Diego State. And I just we had long talks like, listen, you got to go in early. You even if it's on your own off the tee, you can be the first one in there, the last one to leave. Like, you have to put in that extra work. And that's what's going to help you build your confidence, like confidence based on preparation. Yeah. That's what you need. Yep. 100%. Now, you talked about your hand injury going into sophomore season. How did it happen? I punched a wall. Oh, okay. You know what's funny? So I've done that before and broke my knuckles. So I know what you mean. You know what? I think it happens to a lot more people than we think. Yes. I mean, punching a wall is not a smart thing to do. But I think if you get to a point where you're angry, hey, it happens to the best of us. Yep. But it really made me realize it sucked because it was 3 weeks before the start of season and I was our starting shortstop. And to know that I had to get surgery, I
it sucked to like lose the trust of my teammates, like to have to tell them that because it was something that I could control. But I wouldn't take it back. I learned so much from that. I started going to see a therapist just for like some traumas that I had and some anger and things that were built up my whole life that I had never dealt with.
Right.
And props to Coach Tar because she kind of set me up with that. Like, hey, listen, like you gotta like go talk to someone because if you're getting this angry and that's the way you're releasing it, like we gotta figure this out. Yeah. So it was a blessing in disguise because it really helped me just like my mental health. Okay.
Well, that's the biggest thing. Mental health right there. What was so what kind of role did you play that season? I mean, obviously you were were you looked upon as, you know, someone to go to advice for? I mean, even though it's your sophomore season, you have that year in. Did any of the freshmen, you know, come to you for advice or anything?
I would say maybe just the freshmen.
Yeah.
Because I was still young too. But
that's right.
My main role, I mean, I was like, I'll do anything. Like I needed to redeem myself and like gain the trust of my teammates. I'm like, I will do anything for this team. I felt so crappy. But I had to be in like a full cast, like my knuckles were in it and everything. Like if I wanted to go and practice and stuff, and it was my right hand, so it was my throwing hand. So I couldn't throw or anything. And so we had this huge cast that looked like this crazy thing to where I couldn't even get my fingers out of it. So, you know, I would base run, but my biggest thing, like at practices, I was a bullpen catcher, which then led me to be catching the next season. So there are some things.
That's actually, I was going to ask how you got into catching. And
yeah, I was bullpen catching and they were kind of like, wait a second, you can do this. So that was like my practice. And I kind of like would work on it, you know, while I would catch these bullpens. And I just kind of figured it out. And then that next season, Kim was going to catch and she ended up tearing her ACL. And it was like, all right, Courtney, you've got your bullpen catching experience. Like, here we go.
Wow, that's great. And you know what? I don't even have this on my notes in front of me, but what was it like, you know, being behind the dish, like catching a pitch?
I enjoyed it.
Do you?
I enjoyed it because it was something so new and it was like exhilarating. Like it was fun because, you know, every pitch was a learning experience for me. Like I was still figuring it out. I was a shortstop catching. Like,
that's crazy.
Are you going to see me back there, like, blocking balls no, I'm going to pick them and I'm just going to figure it out, you know, like,
yeah.
Was my technique amazing? No. But I got the job done. But that was the year also that I got really sick and had to stop catching, but it was fun while it lasted.
Right. Now, I guess looking back now, what are some of the big memories that stick out to you from your time with the Huskies?
Fourth year was fun. Just personally, it was fun for me because I felt like it was like my breakout year personally. And I was really like learning how to be a good teammate and a leader. And I felt really confident with where I was at. And I kind of like proved to myself, like I put the time in and I was kind of like excelling on the field finally. And it was my first year of actually playing like a full season and being like a role player. And that was nice. And then I would say like my fifth year was honestly my favorite year because I was at my best. Like when it came to my teammates, like I just really like loved my teammates and I think that they looked to me as a leader. And that's something that I like take pride in because I wasn't always that way. Like I thought about myself a lot and I didn't like spend that much time with teammates before. And I think we all kind of go through that. Like you realize like what's important here. And like, it's not about your own, like, it's not about your own stuff. It really isn't. Like that's not, it's going to stand out.
That's a maturity thing, right?
Exactly. My AirPods now both died. Can you hear me?
Oh yeah, it's all good.
Okay. I felt like I was most mature in my fifth year and that's when I tore my ACL, but right after Palm Springs, the practice after Palm Springs, I tore it, and that was really, really crappy. But I loved that year with my teammates.
Yeah. So the whole ACL injury, how long did that keep you on the shelf?
So tore it. Coach Tar was like, listen, you can still play with it torn if you want. Like, we can figure this out. And I was like, yes, I want to play. Of course. Like, of course, that's going to be my mindset. Like,
yeah,
I want to be out. I want to be on the field. I remember I knew it was torn right away. And I laid there crying, not because of the pain, but because I just kept telling Coach Tar, I want to play. I want to play. And so we got it to a point where we felt like it was strong enough for me to be a hitter. Mm-hmm. I can just be in the lineup and hit. And then if I get on base, someone runs for me and that whole deal. And that worked for a bit. And then I got kept in for base running against ASU, which was not supposed to happen. And tore my meniscus, and that was it. Like that was the end of it. And I knew it was, and I got to have one more at bat. So I talked to our trainer, and I mean, my knee was like a balloon, and it was bad. And so I said, can I just have one more at bat? Don't tell the coaches, please. And I think they knew, but it was like, I just wanted to know when my last collegiate at bat was going to be. And I really appreciate them for letting me have that. Just to know, like, this is it.
Mm-hmm. Well,
so
good for them. I mean,
I didn't get a hit, but it's fine.
At least you didn't hit one to the gap and try to Lego the single.
No, I couldn't even move my leg. I hit it to left. I couldn't even make it to first. Like, it was it. But it's nice to know.
Yeah.
Your last at bat, because you could really just savor the moment.
Absolutely. Yes. Yeah. Absolutely. Now, 2017, you begin your professional career in Italy. How'd that all happen?
It was kind of random, but I wanted to keep playing. And knowing I was coming off my ACL, I only got 2 years of my 5 years in college. Like, it felt not fair, honestly. Like, I wasn't being a victim, but I'm like, no, like, I've got more in me. Like, let me redeem myself. And I think I posted on this bulletin or something online of like, hey, like, I played at UW. Like, I want to play overseas, because I didn't get drafted. I was hoping that I was going to get drafted, even though I tore my ACL, but it's not really how the NPF worked. No. Like, they can't invest money in someone who's not going to play. Right. They just didn't have that. So yeah, a team in Italy responded, and a few teams, but Italy seemed to be that's where I wanted to go, and seemed the most competitive. And I was in a great situation. Like, there was girls that had played there that I've known before. And, I loved my time there. It was 5 months, which is a little bit too long, honestly. Because I didn't have a car. It was just, you don't have all the resources at, for example, my husband has when he plays overseas. Right. Much different experience. I mean, I had a room and this little cot. But my husband has a 3-bedroom house, and we got a car, and we're on the water. It's very different. Yeah. And a little bit humbling, but what an amazing experience. I really wouldn't have wanted to have it any other way.
No doubt. Like I said, it's on my bucket list. Tell me, how awesome is Italy, though? I mean, from not just a food aspect, because I can only imagine how good their food is, but I mean, from, the views and all that.
Incredible. It's beautiful. And so what we do is we only play on Sundays. We play double headers on Sundays. So we have Monday and Tuesday off, and then, or Monday, Tuesday, we have practice at 8 p.m. on Tuesday. So I would use Monday and Tuesday as my time, right, to go explore, take the train somewhere and go. So wow. Yeah. And so I got to go to a lot of places, and during I don't know, European championships or something, whatever they would do with the national team, we would have a week or two off. So I got to go to 4 different countries. I did it within a week. I went by myself, and it was it was an experience, but it was just like, it was so cool to be able to do that. Because once you're in Europe, like it's pretty easy to travel everywhere. It's just getting to Europe is like the hardest part. But once you're there, you can kind of go all over.
That's awesome. That is so awesome. 2018, pretty big year for you. You'd join Chicago Bandits as well as join the U.S. national team. You'd win gold at Japan Cup. How cool was that experience?
It was really cool. And it was really cool to like see kind of like personally, like where I had been and to be able to like have USA across my chest now. Like I didn't think that would be a thing, like coming out of college. So it was really cool. I got to play with girls that, I've only played against, and I got to know just these amazing souls and, how fun. It was so fun. The Bandit year, I loved being on the Bandits. That was everything about the Bandits I loved.
Is that right? Well, I mean, it's kind of funny though. Coming full circle now with AU, you get to play, there. So, I mean, that's pretty cool too.
Yeah, it felt like home. Being in the apartments, I stayed there because I ended up coaching at Northwestern. So I was there the entire year until the next season. So it was just like a cool thing to do.
No doubt. Now, actually, I get back to the U.S. national team thing. That had to be like a pretty cool moment between you and your mom. Being able to say you both represent your country.
Yeah, it was really it was a cool experience. And I also was on the team with Hannah Flippin, and whose mom also played on the USA team, and her and my mom played together. So it was so cool. And then we had Susie Brasney there at USA tryouts, who played with both of our moms on the USA team, and she was like one of the coaches for the tryouts. So it was just like a full circle moment, I think, for a lot of us. It was like, whoa, like this is a really, really cool thing that we're doing. That's
awesome. That is so cool. Mm-hmm. It's funny how intertwined things can be. Like,
yes, absolutely.
Unreal.
Yeah.
So the pandemic hits 2020. That's of course when Greggy was born. How long after he was born did you get that itch to get back in the game?
Well, I knew I wanted to play again, but it was like really a random thing happened. I got a call from Chris Sebrin from USA, and he was like, "Hey, like, what are your plans? Are you going to play?" I'm like, "Yeah, I want to. Like, I haven't trained yet because I was just here with Greggy on my own." So that was a struggle in itself, just like being away from family, and like my family is in California. I'm a new mom. My husband's overseas. Like my son is, he has this rare form of epilepsy. And so like, I'm just like trying to figure it out. Like I'm barely getting through the day. And so I knew I wanted to play, but like I hadn't been training. No way. Like I hadn't done anything. So I get this call and I'm like, yeah, well, like why? And he was like, well, we're having training camp and we'd love to like have you come out and help us. And it was in 3 weeks. I was like, yes. I said, yes, I want to do it. And I didn't tell him that I hadn't been training at all and that my body was probably not ready for it. But I like jumped on that opportunity because it was like, how cool is that? Like I got to bring my son and my mom came with me. Like we got to go to Florida and my son was there. And honestly, that was worth it enough. Like just to have Greggy there to be able to like see his mom play. I mean, he had no idea what was going on. What was he like? Less than a year old, but still like I loved that experience. And that was kind of like a big thing too. I think that AU got to see that like, okay, she's out there and she's like, she's working, like she can play, which why wouldn't I be able to play? Yeah. But we don't see it as often as we would obviously with men, men who have kids, it doesn't affect them at all.
That's right.
But we don't see it in softball. So I think it was like kind of like proving a point. Like listen, we got this. If anything, like, I think we can come back stronger.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
So it was nice, like,
so
opened up some more opportunity.
Well, let's talk about AU, because I mean, I absolutely love AU. I rave about it on here all the time. And so, I mean, how was it for you? Because I mean, you know, I saw the article. You know, you got to take Greggy there, and you know, you had, what was it, 40 some, or no, more than that, like more or less aunts for him.
Yeah, it's like 60.
60, yeah, like that was awesome.
Yeah, the girls would come over every day, and he loved it. But if I wasn't able to bring Gregory with me, like it wouldn't even be an option.
Oh, absolutely. Yes.
I wouldn't do it. So to be in that environment that was so supportive, and they provided a caretaker. I mean, they paid for a caretaker. I was able to like get one of the girls from Northwestern that I coached. She was with us, and she was like kind of like his babysitter the whole season. They made sure that we were all taken care of, and that's the kind of environment that I want to be a part of. And I kind of went in like, honestly, like I'm just doing my best. And did I necessarily get to train like I wanted to? No, not at all. I didn't really have like that support or like the means to train in the off season. Because like I said, I'm out here alone with Greggy, and Abdul came back like 4 weeks before my season started. So I was able to like, get some training in, but not like I would have wanted. So I went in there not with high expectations for myself, but knowing that like I'm doing this for more than me, and I know that I'm going to take out of it. I don't really know or care how I was going to perform. But I was going to take out of it way more than however my performance was.
Right. How fun was it?
Yeah, absolutely. And I did. It was fun. But now I'm like, no, listen, I'm going in there and I'm going to be ready.
Yeah, on.
It's okay to be mediocre, but not for very long.
That's right. And I was going to say, so you're back for season 3. I mean, going into season 3, what's the biggest thing you're looking forward to?
I'm like really looking forward to like having this off season. I've been like preparing and working my butt off. So I'm really like excited to go in there and like feel ready and like feel confident and like get after it. And of course, like be with the girls and meet new girls. Like the whole atmosphere there is absolutely amazing. Like the relationships and the bonds that you build or that you're building on. It's so cool. So I love that whole aspect of it. And like Gregory, now that he's a little bit older, I think he's going to take even more from this. Like his second birthday is going to be when we're in season. And like, I can only imagine, like 60 women singing to him. He's going to be like in heaven going crazy. Yes. Like he's going to love that. And what more can I ask for? Like, those are the things that I'm excited for. My husband gets to finally be there. Like,
oh, that's awesome.
How cool. Yeah.
That is so awesome, Court. Now, before we get to, I have a little thing I end the podcast with. It's called Player Association. I'm going to throw out some names to you. But before we get to that, obviously, you've been a huge role model for a lot of young athletes, but one of those is a past guest of our show, and that's Miss Abigail Tolton. I'm sure you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Now, I had the chance to talk to her this past week, and she wanted to record something for you. You want to hear?
Oh, yes.
Here we go. Abby, so great to talk to you again. Can you tell us what kind of influence Courtney has had on you?
Randy, it's great to hear from you. Courtney has had a really big influence on me. I am 12, and I have big dreams. And it means so much to me that I get to share my dreams with someone like Courtney, who has lived them. I have her name on my glove. Actually, it's a glove she let me design. And anytime I feel the nerves, I can look down and see CG8, and it really settles me down.
That's so awesome, Abby. Can you give me an example?
Because of COVID, I haven't pitched in a game in over 2 years. And 2 weeks ago, I flew down to pitch my Florida team in a PGF event. And I was so nervous. I'm usually never nervous, but this time I was really nervous warming up. It was really helpful to be able to look down and see CG8 on my glove. Take a deep breath and close my eyes. And in my mind, I was back on the Bandits field in Chicago, and Courtney and I were dancing and laughing together, just playing catch.
Haha, that's fantastic, Abby. Is there anything else you want to say to Courtney?
Well, first, I want her to give Baby G a big hug from his favorite Canadian aunt. I hope she realizes what her support means to me. Courtney has inspired me and supported me, and she makes me feel like I have the power of an army woman like her behind me. Knowing Courtney is always in my corner and believing in me gives me a lot of confidence, and I'm so lucky that I get to have Courtney as a part of my journey. And in 5 years, if I'm lucky enough to get scholarship offers, Courtney will be one of the first people I call to discuss them.
There we go. What do you think?
I'm really emotional, actually, because those are like, excuse me, that's just a reminder of like why we do what we do. And it's really nice to hear that reminder because, with the game, we can make it a lot more than it is. And it's, we play a really tough game, but, like at the end of the day, like this is what it's all about. Like if you get to influence even just one female athlete or one athlete in general, like it makes it so worth it. And like, I don't know, to hear that is really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. I mean,
Abigail has been really, really supportive, and I got to meet her with the Bandits, and I don't even think she realizes like how much of a light she is. Like she was on the field with us, and like, you can be like worried about just, I don't know, the smallest things when you're playing or even outside distractions. And like these girls who, they bring more joy to us, I think, than they even know. And so that's really cool to hear.
That's awesome. And I think she definitely has a bright future in the game. I agree. Like she can definitely throw the ball.
Yeah. And you know what, even more than that, like she has just such a bright future in like whatever she's going to do, because, people like her, they have a huge influence. And so I'm happy to even know her.
Yeah, that's awesome. She's going to love hearing this. Little thing, like I said, end the podcast with her, Court. Call it player association. I'm going to throw out a few people from the game to you. And if you have a story about them, throw it out there. Anything you want to say about them. So,
okay.
First one on the docket here, Ali Aguilar.
Oh, Ali and I had some good times at UW. What I love about Ali is that she knows who she is, and she's like so consistent with that, and she knows what she believes in, and she's influential and just like very, very positive. And so that's what I love most about her.
Right on. Next, Taryn Avalo.
Oh, Taryn. Taryn is one of my best friends. Let me think of a story. Oh, okay. I have a lot of stories of Taryn, but when she was incoming freshman, I was kind of like, let me call myself her caretaker. I was like, Coach Tar's like, listen, you keep her in check. You take care of her. If anything happens, it's your fault, kind of thing.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, Taryn, you're not leaving my side. And she, you know what? I think she loved it. Like she would sleep instead of her dorm. She would like come sleep on our couch. She'd be over all the time. And we have a lot, like I'm like a little girl around her. So she just brings out like that, the fun in me. And so I love Taryn. I have a deep appreciation for her.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Next is Jenna Lilly.
Jenna. Oh my goodness. Okay. Yeah, I have a story. We're playing Oregon, and she used to really annoy the heck out of me. Like, I just thought she was like, ultra, like I thought she was cocky, and she kind of just rubbed me the wrong way. Yeah. Like I don't know how to explain it. And I didn't know her at all. And so I had only heard like some like travel ball stories or whatever, like small softball stories. And there was this one time where we were like trying to pick her off at first. This is really bad. Trying to pick her off at first, and thank God she dove, because I would have taken her head off with my glove. I whipped my glove around so hard. I mean, it would have knocked her out, I think. And now looking back, like, I'm so embarrassed by that. And luckily we're good, like very good friends now. But like, I think our team, like it almost ended up like in a brawl. It was bad.
Really? Wow.
Yeah, like it could have been really bad. So luckily it didn't, and I got to redeem myself, and we're great friends. And I hope that video never goes public, because what is bad.
Oh, that's great.
So I reached out and apologized to her, actually, like maybe a year later. And I was just so happy that I didn't actually hit her.
That's funny. That is so funny.
Yeah.
Actually, you know what's funny? It's crazy. I'm sorry, I'm getting off topic a little bit, but isn't it funny, like the people that you always are in competition with and you think that, you know, they're the worst. But then when you get to know them, they're like, they're the best people in the world.
It's crazy how you have this like perception of people, and it's hard. You really should not judge someone,
absolutely
how they are especially how they are on the field, because I mean, I'm sure people think I'm a total jerk. I'm sure some teams like did not like me because I wasn't like on the field to make friends. Mm-hmm. Like it was like, let's take care of business kind of thing. And, even Jenna will like say like, yeah, I was the worst back then. And like, she is like being her teammate. Oh my goodness. She is so incredible and such an amazing person. And I like look back and laugh of like this perception I had. And it just like makes you realize like you can't judge someone by their competitiveness.
No, that's so true. That's true. Okay. We have two more here. Coach Heather Tara.
Oh, I call her mom. She took care of me. She took care of me in college, after college. I really look up to her. She's like, that strong person that you have in your life, like the one that you think like nothing can hurt them, nothing can, get to them. And I've been able to like see a softer side of her, and I'm really grateful for that. And I will always have a deep appreciation for the things that she has done for me and how she's taken care of me. So I love that woman.
Awesome. And last but certainly not least, McKenna Brocky.
Oh, my sister. I'm so proud of her. I didn't get to be there for a lot of her games growing up. You know, I was away here in Washington. So it's been really, really cool to like just follow her career. Like I get to watch the games now. My mom's up here, and I went down to go see her in Palm Springs and have Greggy there. And we got to experience her first collegiate home run. And I was like a proud mom.
Yes.
It was against Northwestern. So I was like, also rooting for Northwestern. And I was right by their dugout talking to them. And then I was recording her at bat, and she hits the home run. And I'm screaming like in the Northwestern dugout, like screaming like this crazy mom. And then after I was like, okay, let me just walk away. Because they were silent. And I'm like, oh crap.
Yeah.
But after they totally understood.
Oh, 100%. Yes.
But I am just so proud of her. And like, I don't know. She amazes me. She really does. And so I'm really excited that they've got their ticket into postseason, and it's been fun to watch them. They've got that coaching staff and just what they've done with the team. Those girls are awesome. Right on. Right.
Yeah. They got selection Sundays this Sunday. So I guess we'll see what's going to happen. Where do you hope they land?
I mean, I could kind of assume where they're going to land, but I kind of hope that they don't land there. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know. Because, they're probably like local.
Yeah.
Somewhat local. I don't know where they're going to land, but, I think they're going to give people a run for their money. That's for sure. And they might surprise a lot of people.
Hey.
I've been able to see their growth this season and just being able to follow along. And they're a tough little squad. They're scrappy and, they can bring it. So wherever they end up, they're going to be competitive. That's for sure.
That's the main thing. Well, Court, listen, I got to thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule to come on. I mean, I know how busy you are. So
I appreciate that. It's been fun. This is my pleasure. That's brought back a lot of good, fun memories. So
that's awesome.
I'm happy about it.
Great. Looking forward to watching you in AU this season, and wishing you, Abdul, Greggy, nothing but the best.
Thank you. I really appreciate that. I'm wishing you and your family the best too, and I'm excited to keep in touch.
All right. Take care.
You too.
Pick it up, yeah. Pick it up. Pick it up.
Nah, we ain't slowing down. Pick it up. Yeah, let's play a game called a monkey in the middle. Married to the game, but I ain't scared to make a single. This right here got you feeling like a nympho. About the climax with your face all in a pillow. It's a grand slam home run. Early morning tee off, sinking a hole in one. 1-1, the underdog, but I'm winning it. Club closed, but the ticket DJ keeps spinning it. Oh, I can't stop this feeling that I come across. Moonwalking on water like the sun of God. Then I'm ghost busters, who you gonna call? Feels like Christmas when I'm sipping on that rum and all. It's that bonus on your paycheck. It's when the wifey surprised you with day sex. Yes, it's going on that first date. It's taking her over dinner and she offers to pay. That's a grand slam.
Move the upfield way back. I'm swinging for the fence.
Grand slam.
I got a couple of drinks, got weed and some money to spend.
That's a grand slam.
I'm feeling brand new, like no I can't lose. That's a damn good day to me. That's a damn good day to me. That's right, and that's a damn good day. Pick it up,
I'm trying to give a bit of great advice. You in a dark place, this could be your ray of light. It's a feeling that could make you nice. I'm trying to take these people higher. It don't matter if you're afraid of heights. Right, it's like that back massage. It's a bachelor party over your last hurrah. Feels good, don't it? Enjoy it while you can, cause this all stops when the record ends. There's three types of people I know that tell the truth. Kids, drunks, and those who nothing to lose. I'm on my last drink though, but got no weed to smoke. Oh, just found a joint in the seat of my coach. That's a grand slam.
Move the upfield way back. I'm swinging for the fence.
Grand slam.
I got a couple of drinks, got weed and some money to spend.
That's a grand slam.
I'm feeling brand new, like no I can't lose.
That's a damn good day to me.
Said I'm feeling brand new, like no I can't lose.
That's a damn good day to me.
Grand slam.
And that's a damn good day to me.
Pick it up.
Nah, we ain't slowing down.
Pick it up.
I'm that tall, skinny white dude, born and raised out in Enfield is where I'm still living today. Nah, I never went Hollywood, heaven forbid. And I'm big up to my hometown for letting me live. I'm feeling it and feeling energized, like I worked out and got some exercise. It's that game-winning goal. It's getting home from work. It's smelling your...
Are you downsizing? Maybe need more room because of additions to the family, or possibly seeking that dream home you've always wanted? Well, Tim Eisner at Royal LePage Atlantic is the guy for you. With a proven track record and multiple awards, Tim goes above and beyond to find out your needs and exactly what you're looking for. So if you're seeking a new home or trying to sell your current one, contact Tim at 902-499-5717 or check him out on Facebook at Tim Eisner. Again, that's 902-499-5717. Trust me, when all is said and done, we'll be saying Tim Eisner strikes again.